Hello friends, I am Jaspreet. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another special fun Saturday video. I hope you are at home. I hope you are enjoying the weekend or you're studying for your December 2021 attempt. And as promised in the last special fun Saturday video, that next Saturday I will be coming up on how to read Bare Act to understand the law. Here I am to tell you that. But before that, if you're viewing me for the first time, hi, I'm Jaspreet. I make videos for CA, CS, CMA students as well as members. I post a motivational video on Monday, a work study planning tips video on Wednesday, and a fun video like this one on Saturday at sharp 6 p.m. Yes, at 6 p.m. I post the videos on all 3 days, and alongside other videos regarding notifications, announcements that come daily that are posted as and when they come. So feel free to check the content I create, and do hit the subscribe button if you have not done it yet, and hit the bell icon so that whenever I post any video, you get notified. So let's start with today's video, that is how to read Bare Act to understand the law. Now as a CA, CS, CMA or a law student, you must know how to read a Bare Act. Last Saturday, I reviewed the best and affordable Bare Act for students. I hope you have seen that video. If not, I'll put the link in the I button above so that you can go and check that video out first and then watch this video, as then you will create a good link with this video as well. So I will be telling you 8 ways in which you should read a Bare Act to understand law better. Alongside, I will show the same from the Bare Act itself so that you understand better. The first way to understand the Bare Act is what is the purpose of the act. Now every act has a purpose behind it. Every act, every law comes because of some incident or because of some situation or because of the need of it. Why do we need it? What is the purpose of this law? For example, companies law, to regulate the companies. As you know that companies work at a larger scale, so that is why there should be some law, there should be some legal constraints to them, so that they maintain the boundaries of the law, so that they don't do anything illegal, they don't promote anything illegal in the public, in the society. So that is why we need a law for it. Similar if we talk about labor law or if we talk about any other laws, every law has a purpose. So before reading the Bare Act, you should know what is the purpose of this act, why do we need this act, or alongside that you must know that if for whom this law is being created, right? Like for employees or for labor or for companies or for LLP or for whatever law you're studying, right? That should be very, very clear to you before you start a Bare Act. So as you must be knowing that the purpose of Companies Act is definitely to set rules and restrictions and all the guidelines obviously for the companies. So that is the purpose of the Companies Act. For different acts they have different purposes, right? I need not tell you that Companies Act, it's a proper guideline for every kind of company, like how it's registered, how it will be comply with the provisions, with the rules, with the laws, everything is here. So that is the purpose of this act. It is for companies, for their compliances and how it is to be formed and how it is to be managed. Second step, always read the Bare Act by sections and the below given notes. Now if you've seen that last video, I was telling you in that video also that when you read a Bare Act, if you are a CA student, CS student, CMA student or even a law student, you should know that you're not going to read the Bare Act by page numbers. That is a layman approach. A layman doesn't know how to read a Bare Act, and that is why they could refer to the Bare Act by page numbers, but you should know that you have to read the Bare Act by section numbers. Every page of the Bare Act states the section it carries on the top of it, and I will show you in the Bare Act itself from where you should refer the sections. And always whenever anyone asks you or you yourself have to find any section from the Bare Act, make sure that you find it by the section number and not by the page number. So I've told you in that video also that you have to refer the section numbers from here. If anybody says find this section number, you don't have to find by the page number, right? Because in the beginning also in the index they have given sections alongside the page numbers, but we are not a layman, we are a professional. So we will not see here, we will see here. Whichever section you're going to find, you will just flip the pages and find from the sections, right? Here it's written section 46. Here you find section 46. See here. So that is why I'm saying you, when anyone is asking that which section you're going to find it from here and not from here. Never refer in the index for the page numbers, because that is not how we are going to approach the law. We are going to see the Bear Act. We are going to see it from here. That is the section numbers. Then after that, there are lots of, notes that are given underneath the acts or at the end of the page. That is like substitution by Act 21. This is number 1. You have to find where it's written number 1. So if you can see here, it's written number 1. This portion, the bracket portion, is substituted. Now it's the new one. It's the new one. Earlier what it was is given here, substituted by this act, section 4, issued under the common seal of the company. So this was the earlier one and this is the new one. Whichever is substituted, whichever is omitted, see the substitution, everything, or what was omitted, right? It was omitted. So before omission, what was there? That is also given. Everything underneath the acts where this come and this line comes, this number is somewhere from here only. Here, see, 1 and 3 asterisk marks. That means this number is now omitted. If you'll go down and find it, here you'll find, and they are telling you this is omitted, and they will tell you what was the earlier section, or what was the earlier clause. That is also written, so you can see what was earlier and now what has changed or what is omitted. So this is something very, very good and very, very important. So this is related to some penalty, and as we know, the new amendment 2020 is regarding the decriminalization and the reduction of the penalties only. In the next Saturday video, I will definitely talk about the how to read the amendment acts, because that is also something you need to know, and it's very different as it's seen. So like this, you have to refer by section numbers and the notes given underneath. Third step, check the related items. Now Bear Act itself has sections, it has schedules, but alongside that it has rules also. For example, if you study Companies Act, you will find a number of places where it is written as may be prescribed. So where is it prescribed? It is prescribed in the rules, right? Rules give all the prescriptions that are not being properly explained in the Bear Act itself, and time and again these rules get updated so that whenever any change happens or anything happens, they are easily amended than the Bear Act. And in the Bear Act it's written as may be prescribed for all the laws. If you have any kind of rules, if you have any kind of schedules, you must be aware of it. Bear Act is not only about the sections given in it, there is lot of things that are related to it, and the major thing is rules. So if you have rules alongside that act, you have to refer to them while reading that Bear Act. Then you will get more clarity about the Bear Act, because rules give you a more detailed explanation regarding the sections, or regarding the forms you need to file, or regarding the other terms and conditions and restrictions, or other things that are being required in those sections that are being compiled in those rules. So don't forget to refer to those rules as well alongside the sections. And now when we talk about the related items, majorly the schedules are already given in this act. You must have seen in the the review video also. Other than that, see here it's written, after all this it's written subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. So where are they prescribed, right? As may be prescribed means they are prescribed in the rules, in the relevant rules that will relate to this topic. There it is prescribed, right? So wherever it's written in the act as may be prescribed, you'll have to see where it is prescribed. But in Companies Act, it's like they are prescribed in the rules. So there you have to go and check. That is why it's not just about the sections, it's about the amendment also, it's about the rules also, it's about the schedules also. So that is why you have to
see the links of everything. It's not just the Bare Act, but everything that is related to it should be known to you.
Fourth, and according to me, the most important thing while you read the Bare Act to understand law is follow the law by letter and spirit. Now, it's not about just the compilation of words that you have to follow, right? It is about the spirit. You have to know why this section came up or why this thing happened. What was the reason behind it? Follow it by spirit, follow it why it was formed, what is the reason behind it, and not finding the loopholes and just following it by the words. That way you are definitely not following the law correctly. So while reading the Bare Act, make sure you understand what was the reason behind the making of any section, or what was the reason behind imposing of any penalty or imposing of any kind of time limits. There is a reason behind everything. There is a reason behind every section, every penalty imposed, every restriction being imposed with the context of number of days. So you need to find out that, and then you have to understand that this happened, that is why this section came up, this happened, the reason behind it, the objective behind it. Then only we can follow the law by spirit and not just by words कि जो भी लिखा है बस उतना ही फॉलो करो, समझने की जरूरत नहीं है. That is the wrong way to read the Bare Act. You have to take that spirit from the Bare Act, that why did it came, why did this thing happened, or why this section came up. Fifth step, break sentences and then read. You don't have to read in one go, else you'll not understand the Bare Act. Bare Act carries purely legal language, so you should know how to read it. I will explain you alongside the Bare Act, but the important thing that I am trying to tell you is you should know the importance of the punctuations used, like especially the comma. Where is the comma? Is why the comma is being used, when you have to pause, which words are related to which sentence. Then only you will understand the legal language. The language is all about correct pauses. You have to know when you have to stop and interpret the sentence.
Now, as I'm telling you to break the sentences and then read, and especially read the commas carefully. For example, this section number 50, if we read, a company may stop. Right, as you can see the comma, if so authorized by its article, stop. Accept from any member, again stop. The whole or a part of the amount remaining unpaid on any shares held by him, stop, even if no part of that amount has been paid. So make the breaks. Now especially I would tell you that almost in all sections you will come across these commas. So stop at commas and start interpreting. First is a company may यानी कि mandatory नहीं है, it's not compulsory, it can or cannot. The company may. Now how may or may not will be decided is in the next line, that is if so authorized by its articles. That means you need to get the authorization from the articles. If it is authorized, then it can. If not, then it could not. Right? Moving. Accept from any member. Now what it can do? Right, we are coming from here, but what it can do, for which authorization is needed, it can accept from any member. Stop. The whole or part of the amount remaining unpaid on any shares held by him. It can take the whole or any part. If any amount is unpaid on the shares that are held by him, the company may take it. If it's authorized by the articles of association, they can accept from any member, even if no part of that amount has been called up, because we know that there are calls for the shares, right? The share amount is divided into calls so that not to pay at one time and to pay in smaller amounts, but the company can take it if it's so authorized by the articles, whole or part of it, even if it's not called by the by the company. So that this is what I'm trying to say. Break. Whenever this comma comes, stop and interpret, and then move ahead, and then stop and interpret and interlink. This is how you're going to understand also. Don't read it in one go. First of all, you'll not understand also, and secondly, it is like complicated because it's legal language. So whenever you see a comma or any punctuation, stop and interpret it, and then read again and interpret it, and then try to interlink it. That is the best way to read the law and the legal language.
Sixth, pay attention to special words. Now there are few special words that are being used in the Bare Acts, that are being used in the legal language, that you have to understand and pay attention to. When you come across these words, you should know what they mean, then only you will interpret the act correctly. So I will be telling you which are those words and how you have to interpret them.
So when we talk about the special terms or the important terms, the first term would be this, that is notwithstanding. It says notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1. So notwithstanding means in spite of the things previously mentioned or written. It's actually the legal language that declares that this clause supersedes anything forthcoming that might contradict it. So that is very important. When it says notwithstanding, it's actually overriding effect over the provisions of the act, right? So this section is important. This is overriding over the other section, right? So notwithstanding anything that's written here, right, in spite of this, this will prevail, right? And in this contradiction, we have the word subject to. See, subject to the provision. Subject to means that this provision will yield to another provision, right? That is, you have to, before this, you will have to look at these provisions and the earlier provisions will prevail. That is the way. In this case, notwithstanding anything says that this, the notwithstanding anything contained in this has the overriding effect, the later provision. Here, the earlier provision has the overriding effect because that is subject to the provision. So, पहले ये देखने हैं, फिर ये बाद में देखना है, right? And in notwithstanding says that despite of this, this will go ahead, right? So, these are the two words. Other than this, you have this also, like provided that. So it means after all this telling, provided that this should happen, then you can do this, right? So that is why provisions or provided that is very very important, because at the end there is written provided that. That means ये सब चीजें तो आप कर सकते हो, provided you do this, right? Provided you have done this or you do this, then only you can do the earlier things. That is why it's called provided that. Other than that, there are other words also. Let me know if you want a separate video on legal terminologies. I can make that as well.
Seventh, take help of study material. Now you all know that you have a prescribed study material and Bare Act is just for reference. Because at the student level you're not an expert to read the Bare Act, so try to refer to the study material wherever you find that. When you're not able to understand the meaning of any section or the meaning of any line that is written in a section, try to take the help of a study material. That way you will get the gist of it. That way you will understand what they are trying to study, right? Because you are a student and you are yet not an expert in it. This will need time, this will need practice. Till that time, make sure that you keep taking the help of the study material or your mentors or maybe some expert. Just make sure you don't interpret it wrong. If you're not getting it, try to ask from somebody or try to refer to some reference book or some study material so that you understand what you are reading. Eighth step and the most important step, know the editors of the Bare Act. Now you should purchase the Bare Act that is completely authentic. Then only you will be able to, understand better, interpret better, and you get these Bare Acts with, some Bare Acts come with short notes, some Bare Acts come with comments, so that way you get that help. Always purchase the Bare Act of the brand that is reliable, that is trustful, so that you don't get something that is wrong or that is not authentic. So according to me, the best brands available here, they are Taxman or LexisNexis. They both have good acts and reliable and authentic as well. So always know which brand or which editor's Bare Act you are purchasing so that you can completely and blindly trust whatever you are studying. So these are my 8 steps on how you can read a Bare Act to understand the law. Now nobody is an expert on it or nobody becomes an expert in one day. It will take time. Keep practicing, keep studying, keep referring to other reference books in case you don't understand. Ask someone if you don't understand, and then only you will become an expert in reading the Bare Act as well. I hope you found the video informative. अच्छी लगी तो like कर देना. Do subscribe to my channel if you have not done it yet, and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload any video, you get notified. Do follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest and LinkedIn to stay connected with me there also. All the links will be in the description box below. Bye.